What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from HTA RL, Hit the Apex Racing League, F1 2019 on the PS4 platform. This is Season 3, Round 3 of the HTA Assists League here at Spa. And I've got our good buddy Ozone joining me in the booth again today. What's up, Ozone?
Good evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever in the world watching us. Hope you're all good and staying indoors with obviously the COVID-19 spreading around the world. But we got a league race on Spa, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, going to be looks like a pretty good race today. Got 15 drivers on the grid so far. We'll run down the driver lineup. Maxi 16 rocking the Toro Rosso with Carbon Con in the McLaren, AB53 Mo in the Haas, Epic the Animal in the Renault, Feared by Gaming, his teammate, and Khalifa, who is in the Mercedes. We didn't see him last time out. He'll be racing again today. Rita is your points leader in the Racing Point. Dan is going to be racing alongside Khalifa in the Mercedes, Sloppy G in the Toro Rosso, Fozzie Wazzie in the McLaren, Casey G is going to be in the Alfa Romeo along with ASD Kimi. Try and Catch is going to be, I want to say, possibly the Williams, and Q-Tip 1999, who set up this lobby. We've got Chazmeister 44, that's Charlie Sampson. He's also another driver I'm familiar with from IRL. And just to recap last week, a little bit of confusion last week, obviously with me and you, the beginning of the stream with our voice chat, but we got that under control. So the race last week at Monza, they finished with Dan taking the win, Rita in second, Casey G was third, and Ben Gallagher was fourth. There was some after-race penalties added on and some after-race penalties removed from the in-game penalty system, and it actually changed the finishing order around. So Rita actually got credited with the win. Ben Gallagher was second. Dan finished third, and Casey G was fourth, which was too bad for Dan because you're really excited about it. He put on a good showing, came across the line first. And then 5th through 16th, that was Kimi, Epic, Carbine, Sloppy G, Gad, and 10th was Eurowolf. And surprisingly, 11th through 16th was all DNFs. Did you expect that many DNFs at Monza last week?
Well, the nature of Monza, you can expect, as with the big heavy braking zones into Turn 1, you can expect little incidents to happen. But I was shocked to see 5 cars retire. A little bit disappointing for Dan. I was speaking to him in the week, and let's just say he wasn't happy with the decision of taking the win away from him. But we have to change now. New week, new track. Let's get into action.
And just as we recap real quick, Monza, the 11th through 16th, that was AB53 Mo, Try and Catch, Maxi, Sippy, Fozzie Wazzie, and Feared by Gaming, who is now batting 0 for 2 when it comes to races. He's got 2 DNFs to his credit so far, unfortunately. The season opener at Bahrain, and then obviously last week in Monza. See if he can finish a race today here at Belgium. Any expectations going into today's race? I know you haven't seen a whole lot of these guys race, but given the points and what you've seen so far, what are your predictions?
You can't really predict Belgium. It depends what the weather's going to be, because if it's wet, we could see another incident like back in 1998. But if it's dry, anything could happen. Obviously, Eau Rouge and Radion will be tricky for all drivers out there. See if anyone can not crash into the barriers. But I think Dan's going to be looking strong up there again. Maybe the Racing Point Racing Point and the 2 Alphas maybe.
And speaking of Belgium 98, that was I commentated for SRL earlier today. They coincidentally were racing at Spa as well for their 14th round of the season, and they themselves, even in the dry, had a massive crash coming out of Turn 1. Big time wreck, 8 cars involved. It was very much reminiscent of Spa in 98, so hopefully HTA RL will avoid any such calamity heading into today's race. So you do bring up a good point with Rita and the Racing Point. He is your championship points leader so far, second Bahrain and winning last week, or being credited with the win after everything was all said and done. Dan looks very promising. I think a guy we need to keep an eye on there is going to be Khalifa and the other Mercedes. He proved to be really fast at Bahrain. He walked away with the pole. Now, he did get caught up in a wreck earlier that race and had to fight his way back. He did come home ninth that race, but he did show some good speed, so he could be a little bit of a spoiler in today's race. And I think we're waiting on maybe one or two more drivers to join in.
Yeah, as a league race, so this wasn't the nicest part of the entire thing. Just waiting for the drivers to come in. You just want to get on track, get qualifying out of the way as quick as you can. It's not a nice sight for any driver to be just waiting in the lobby and just waiting for the drivers to join. They just want to get out there and get on track.
So we're going to do an 18-minute short qualifying session followed by a 50% race. Spa, very hectic track. You did bring up a good thing about the weather. Weather is always very unpredictable at a track that rolls through the hills such as Belgium does. And it's a very large track, so you can run into some issues with weather possibly on one side of the circuit but not the other. Has anything like that ever happened to you?
Reminiscent to a league race at the league. I won't mention names of any leagues. Reminiscent of a league race where it started off raining and I was going into the last sector and it was the track was drying up at the last sector, but as I was going through sector 1 it was intermediate conditions, so it was very tricky for me as a driver to navigate that. I hope we don't see that today, but if we do, it'd be very interesting to see what drivers can hold around the entire lap and what drivers cannot. It's one of the longest tracks on the grid, but it's one of the shorter race distances in terms of laps. 50% race is only 22 laps, so it should be interesting, but it could be a lot of fun as well.
You do bring up a good point about the race distance itself. The track itself is a little over 4 miles through the rolling hills of Belgium, and 44 laps is a normal race, so 22 lap times, they were around 145-ish, 144 for qualifying speed, so usually around 147 is a good race pace. Now obviously if it's wet, that'll definitely change the game a little bit, but trying to find a setup here, I mean, you want a low downforce setup, but some of these corners, seems like Sector 2 is a real twisty bit. You kind of want to have enough downforce to take those corners at speed. Is it hard to find a proper setup for this track?
Yeah, there is, because obviously there's a little bit of free-flowing, especially in Sector 1 on the last sector. But the middle sector, it's got quite a lot of corners, and if you're running very low wings, it can catch you out, especially in the chicane at the top of the Camel Straight. It can easily catch you out, especially if you turn in too early. You won't have enough downforce and could result in a spin. But the last sector, you can't really run too high wings, so you'd be as slow as a sitting duck on the back straight.
And it's really interesting to have two high power, low drag tracks like Monza and Belgium back to back on a calendar like this. I don't see that a lot in a lot of league racing. Coincidentally, HTA RL and SRL, it's almost like they're doing the polar opposite of each other, because HTA did Monza last week, Belgium this week. SRL is going to do Belgium this week, Monza next week. And I feel like, can both tracks use a similar setup style? I mean, I know Monza is going to be a little bit more low drag than, say, Spa, but could the setups be pretty similar as far as race to race?
I think from what I experienced, I remember my Monza setups were a little bit different to the ones I used to run around Belgium, especially with wings, obviously, but I still needed a bit of wing on Monza, and obviously needed a lot of wing around Belgium to navigate the track, but I had little tweaks to the entire setup. I won't go through it because I'm not an expert at setups, but yeah, you have to do a little changes, but I wouldn't go as extreme as changing it all.
So still a little bit of radio chatter going on in the background with the drivers, trying to get a few things situated, and Dan expressing his frustration with the league and having his win taken away. Now's probably not the time to bring that up. I say get on the track and get the win today and let the politics play on after the race. So I'd like to see this get underway here. Looks like we've been told 2 minutes by Q-Tip, who's set the lobby. So 2-minute warning, hopefully, to get things underway here at round 3 for HTA RL. So be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the video. Join us on the live chat if you want. Ask us questions. We'll try to answer them to the best of our knowledge as we wait for these drivers to get underway. We just had another driver join, so that's going to give us 16 drivers, maybe?
That's Gad in the Red Bull. He's just joined. I think he joined earlier, but he left for some reason.
Possibly having some internet issues. So that gives us 16 drivers. Gad, who finished 9th last week and 14th in round 1. So he'll be looking to try and do a little bit better running today. So yeah, he says, thank God it finally worked. So it looks like he was having some internet issues. So now that he's situated, try and catch. And Charlie Sampson, that's Chaz Meister 44. He's from IRL. Hopefully he'll be able to put a good show on today. They just need to pick their cars, and hopefully we'll be able to get underway here. See, Q-Tip has selected the Williams.
Yeah, with the Dan's frustrations in the chat of last week. Now's the time not to say it. You need to get on track, set a good qualifying lap, and hopefully put her on pole and win the race. But obviously that might not happen, as F1 League racing is quite unpredictable nowadays. Should be a good race as we're about to start the session. 2 drivers need to ready up though.
I can't understand Dan's frustration. He did run a very good race last time out, making his HTARL debut, and you had spoken very highly of him as far as the driver goes, and he put on a good show. And I feel like had he known that, how do I put this? Dan knew that Rita had game penalties, so I feel like he didn't push as hard as he could have, because he knew he was going to get that win regardless. So why put the car in danger when you know the driver in front of you's got a 3-second time penalty, and you're going to get that win regardless? So I feel like if he'd have known that penalty was going to be taken away from Rita, he probably would have raced harder and tried to make a gap. And so I think that's where his frustration lies. Hopefully they'll get that situated towards the end of this race. They did make a new rule heading into this week that any type of in-game penalties that the drivers feel like that they shouldn't have been assessed, they are not going to take away anymore moving forward, which is kind of good news. But it's like, if you're not going to do it moving forward, then why not just not do it for last race and give Dan the win back? So I can see his frustration, but as we've said, now's not the time to bring it up. It looks like Gad is having some internet issues. He just left the session. He was saying his connectivity was looking pretty poor. So we'll see if Gad can get back in here, maybe get control of that car, and see if he can put in a good qualifying time. So 18-minute qualifying session. Looks like it's nice and dry for qualifying. Be interesting to see if that changes heading into the race.
Yeah, I'm back to the good old penalty ruling they've brought in. I think it is the correct decision. You know, if the game gives you a penalty, stuck with it. But I still think it's a little bit weird given the Racing Point the win last week. But it makes sense, you know, just do it once, but don't do it again. As we see, finally see the first cars come out of the pits.
I mean, the game's not perfect when it comes to giving penalties, and I've seen some guys, they'll get a 3-second corner cutting penalty for trying to avoid an accident. They go off track, and some of that stuff I get. But, as you said, to a certain degree, it is what it is. Chances are you probably wouldn't have gotten that penalty had you not cut the corner so many times prior to, because the game gives you, 2 or 3 times worth of warnings before it gives you an actual penalty, so...
Yeah, it's 2 warnings, then you get the penalty on the strict corner cutting. Yeah, I think that goes like that for every time, so you get 2 warnings penalty, then if you get another 2 warnings, the next one you'll be getting a penalty. So, yeah, drivers out on track doing their out lap, so majority of them. And champs
and a very long out lap, unfortunately.
Yeah, might have to have a quick little power nap before everyone starts their flyers, but we'll surely get around it with various drivers coming out now.
Take a look and see at some of the tire setups that these guys are going to be running. Looks like Sloppy and Try and Catch are going to be running some hards, as is AB53 Mo, and then you've got a couple of guys on softs, Epic the Animal, Chaz Meister. Mediums, going to be the majority of the field, it looks like, mediums and softs. So only 3 of the drivers out on the hards. Looks like softs is going to be the way to go. And obviously soft is going to be the fastest tire, but given the race strategy, what kind of strategy would you run if the weather stays clear?
If it was a dry Grand Prix, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, I think the softs to the mediums or the mediums to the softs, depends where we're going to put there. Someone has binned it at Rouge, one of the McLarens, I think. I'll try and find who that was. It was Fozzie, in fact, but going back to the strategy, I think the soft to the medium does work. I don't really get the point of the drivers going out on hards unless it's out in the bank a lap. But yeah, I think the soft to medium, simple one stop, and you should be fine.
And a quick yellow flag, sector 3. And just like that, 3 minutes have already passed here in the qualifying session, and nobody set a time yet just because of the extremely long out lap and the couple minutes it takes to do a setup. So we're finally getting some guys on some timed laps. We're currently watching Try and Catch in the Ferrari. We have not seen his teammate since round 1, and that was Ryan is Fat. I thought it was Ryan is Fast, but apparently it's Ryan is Fat. And around goes the Ferrari. Oh, and he's into the wall. So Try and Catch, bringing out the yellow flag, sector 2. It looks like he caught up one of the McLarens as well. The McLaren's got right front wing damage.
Oh,
that was, yep, that is Fozzie Wazzie who got caught up in that melee.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting start to qualifying this. People on out laps do not know if other drivers around them are on out lap or a flying lap. I don't see anyone setting the world alight at the minute. Just drivers just going down the first sector.
We're going to pick up Epic the Animal here in the factory Renault. He's on the red banded soft tires. And Casey G's the first driver to set a time, 1:44.215. Q-Tip's right behind him at a 1:44.642. And it looks like...
Ooh, that's a good
there's Rita, 1:44.201.
As well as Kimi in P4 at the moment with a 47.4 before being...
Oh, and look at Epic.
P5.
Cracks into the 1:43s.
Putting an epic lap there, but he's on the softs compared to the 3 behind him. They're all on mediums. Sloppy sets a woman in 45.9 on the hards.
I just picked up Khalifa to see what kind of time he was going to set. He's running the mediums. He dived into the pits. So we'll pick up AB53 Mo in the Haas. He's running down the Kimmel straight now. He's on the hard tires.
Max is setting an okay-ish lap as he comes into the bus stop. Toro Rosso. He's got the McLaren in front of him. See what this lap can do.
Comes out of the corner, 1:44.5, so that's good enough for 5th. And Carbon Con went 1:44.283, so he's 4th quickest.
Good lap from the McLaren as Dan is out on his out lap, looking to put avenge on the week's disappointment news of him not winning the Monza.
Yellow flag, sector 2, and that's AB53 Mo. Looks like he is off the pace. Looks like he might have had maybe a little bit of contact with the Renault of Epic the Animal.
I don't know, I didn't see that. I was scrolling through the other drivers, see what type of lap they're on. After a minute. I think he's on a lap. I don't know if it's that would be
so AB53 is coming out of the bus stop chicane. He's a little off the pace here. A little slow coming out of that corner. He's going to be 1:47.618, so that's good enough for 9th so far. But him and Kimi, the only 2 drivers to run into the 1:47s. And Fozzie Wozzie expressing his apologies over the radio. Looks like he might have gotten in the way. And I believe that was Try and Catch is who he got in the way with. Try and Catch lost the back end of the car coming out of that downhill left-hander, so not necessarily Fozzie's fault on that one. Looks like Dan has just started his first hot lap. Going to jump on board with him as he heads downhill into Eau Rouge. Tapping Radion down the Kemmel Straight. Looks like Gad's rejoined the session. He's having some internet issues, so hopefully he can retake control of that car. Sitting in the pits waiting on him.
He's only a 10th off Epic in the first sector is done. So okay, first sector. Hopefully he can keep it up in the middle sector. Teammates coming in for the
he runs very wide and he just brushed the wall, and he's gonna get out of the gas a little bit, so he knows that ruined his lap. So unfortunately no time set for Dan this time by. Try and Catch is back out on track. He's got the hard tires on, got a new front wing. Less than 10 minutes to go in the session. Epic the Animal, your provisional pole sitter. He's the only driver in the 143 so far.
He's quite comfortably in front. Good gap over 2/10. Very good lap from the Renault, but let's see what the two behind him can do. Both on their out laps and both similarly close together on track. Both going for a pull-on.
And Try and Catch cleanly gets out of that corner this time. Doesn't lose the back end of the car. Heads into the sweeping downhill left-hander. And we've got Animal IST on the live chat. Says he wants to watch some good racing. He was with us last week in the live chat as well. So always good to have a returning fan join us.
Yeah, I hope he gets a good race.
So if I'm reading the messages correctly, it looks like Gad is in the session. He's able to play, but because the car's in the pits, he's not able to really take control of it as of just yet. So it doesn't look like Gad's going to be able to set a time, so he'll be starting in 16th spot. And it looks like he's left the session again. So he's continuing to have internet issues.
Ooh, and the Renault of Fiat by Gaming just put in the wall at the exit of Radion, went for a little spin, just carried on, nothing's happened, but he has lost his front wing.
And he's pulling off to the side, gets out of the way of the hard-charging Racing Point of Rita. Oh, look at this, Khalifa. We talked about him earlier, 143.814. He does come across line. Provisional pole sitter with 8 minutes left to play in the session.
That's just a good lap. I wasn't really keen to them. I didn't think he'd be up there. But he's playing a really good lap there. See what the others can, see if the others can beat it.
So we're going to pick up Rita again. He's now down into third. Currently in Sector 2.
Epic the Animal, and the Renault's just starting his lap.
So we'll see what Rita can do, and then we'll switch back. Rita coming up on some lap traffic there. Well, not lap traffic, but slower traffic. That was sloppy. The Toro Rosso getting out of the way. Rita down through this section, Sector 3 into the bus stop chicane. And again, yellow flag Sector 3. That's the Toro Rosso sloppy. Oh, and the back end starts to come around on him. Rita catches it. That was a good save. 143.989. And he improves his time, but not his position. And look at this, KCG to the top of the charts now. 143.470.
That's a very impressive lap. Very impressive.
And we're going to switch back to Epic the Animal. Now, Epic is actually up on his previous time, but only by about half a tenth. He's going to need a little bit more than that.
yeah, this is where the qualifying gets interesting. So we see the Renault try and push on. Can he pick up the pole? Will we see anyone else jump into the top 5? Will we see Max? Will we see Q-Tip? Will we see Kimi try and catch Sloppy G?
Yellow
Maybe
flag,
even
sector
Dan.
1. Oh, look at this! Epic! He's all over the back of the McLaren. He spins the McLaren out! And that, who was that? Was that Fozzie?
I think it was Fozzie. And
that was Fozzie,
yeah,
and that was, I mean, that's
Fozzie
too
was
bad
on
for
that, I think.
Epic, but that seemed, I don't know, that was a little uncalled for.
The bus stop.
I
Fozzie was
think,
on the lap as well.
I think Fozzie was trying to stay to the inside to give Epic the proper racing line, and I think Epic wanted to dive to the inside to pass him, and 2 cars, 1 space, and it left a little to be desired. So Animal
Dan and Mercedes.
and Epic is expressing his displeasure in the PSN chat there, so I can understand his frustration, but I don't think it was anything that was done on purpose. There was no malice in that situation to me. So we're going to pick up Dan. Dan's coming to the end of his first hot lap. He's coming into bus stop chicane. He's yet to set a time. Good, smooth transition to that.
Very good first sector. There's a good bus stop.
1:43.649, good enough for second spot.
But I think that, I don't know if he can get the car in, change tyres and get back out again. I think that might be the NBC of Dan in this qualifying session, which is a bit unfortunate.
Unless he wants to try and make this another flying lap and see if he can improve his time. Looks like he's still on the gas right now. We'll see. Yeah, he's got the DRS slot open on the wing, so looks like he might be giving it another go, maybe a last-ditch effort. Like you said, he's not going to have enough time to pit and switch tires and come back out.
No, I think he's
and he's done. Yeah, he's 2 off.
He was
2.5 seconds
off in first sector, and then he just cuts the middle one.
So, winding down, Rita's on an out lap, Carbon Con is on an out lap, Try and Catch is on an out lap.
Try and catch about to start. There's a flyer, 3 minutes 20 to go. You could squeeze in one more in if he isn't as good enough, or he invalidates the lap.
It looks like we've got Sippy looking for an invite.
I can't invite anyone personally.
I don't believe I have the ability as well.
Screen. Still waiting for a lap feared by Gaming and the other Renault. His teammate up in P4. See what Feared can do. He's on an out lap. Been very gingerly through Q1. All the drivers now preparing for their out laps about to start. Their fly-in laps. It's the Haas with AB53 gets in front of Kempy Corn, who's just started their fly-in lap.
And I was just watching Try and Catch, and he had a big off there for a hot second. So Animal was asking us on the live chat if we could have a full course mini-map, tire info, and time info displayed throughout the entirety of the race. That's a lot of information.
That's going for a little bit much there.
Well, and I can appreciate the fact we can display all of that info, but it does take away from, it gives less screen to the actual racing itself.
You can't see the cars as much.
So I'll do the best I can. I mean, we can show you the tire detail for now. It looks like everybody's out on softs at this point. Now, their best times, that's different.
Oh, there's a Toro Rosso there. Going the way, Try and Catch, going for Blanchimont. I think it was Max. I think Try and Catch would be happy with that.
So Try and Catch is up to 7th quickest now.
Ruined his qualifying like that.
So KCG's on an out lap. Going to pick up Epic the Animal. Yellow flag sector 2 and 3. That might be for Epic going slow. Now we've got a yellow flag sectors 1 and 3. Epic a little bit off the pace.
This could be a very interesting last few moments of qualifying as the other racing point. The Chasmeister 44 is spun out at the exit of the stablo. An interesting place to crash. I'm not before.
So Try and Catch is officially retired from the session. He's currently 7th quickest. His time will be locked in at 1:44.472. We're going to pick up Epic the Animal. He's just starting what is going to be his last hot lap. Now, his previous one got ruined by the McLaren of Fozzie Wozzie. And Rita, 143.451 to the top of the charts. And Dan just retired from the session as well, 143.649. He's currently 3rd quickest. Rita retires from the session, says, that's good enough for me, beat that. And we'll see if KCG, Khalifa, or Epic have anything for him as time is now run out.
Everyone's last chance. There's a Q-tip in the Williams going to the pits. Won't see much more of him. See what Max can do in the Toro Rosso.
So we'll pick up KCG. Where's Khalifa? Khalifa's coming out of the last corner now. He's going to come across the line. 143.948. It's going to lock him into 4th.
And Max too. Comes across the line. Does improve Girls P5 for the 43.8. That's a good lap for the Toro Rosso. He's put himself right in the mix there in P5. See what Epic and the Alpha can do.
KCG and the Alfa Romeo heading down towards the bus stop chicane here. Last sweeping left-hander, full throttle through that dog leg. Hard on the binders, down through the gearbox. Smooth transition from KCG. He's going to come across the line. What has he got? Has he got anything for Rita? 143.181 to the top of the charts. Here comes Epic right behind him. Epic's going to come across the line. 143.7. Good enough for 4th. Great job by KCG.
That was an enthralling qualifying session, I have to admit. I enjoyed that.
So here is your starting order, and you can see it's all on softs, all the way down to 11th. KCG with the pole position. Rita's going to be starting 2nd. Dan will be 3rd. Epic the Animal is 4th. Khalifa will be starting 5th. Maxi 16 is 6th. Sloppy G is 7th. Carbon Con 8th. ASDF Kimmy going to be 9th. Try and Catch is 10th. Q-Tip 11th. Feared by Gaming 12th. AB53 Mo is 13th. Fozzie Wozzie 14th. Chaz Meister is 15th with no time set. Gad is 16th with no time set. And it looks like we also had Sippy join us, so he'll be 17 drivers out of 20 for today. And looks like the softs is going to be the tire where the majority of the guys are going to be starting on.
Yeah, all the drivers going on the softs or mediums. No one's going on the hards. Yeah, they must be all one stopping. Obviously, if you stand on the mediums, going on to the softs, and vice versa if you stand on the softs. But here we are, ready for the Grand Prix. Waiting for all drivers to ready up. This is where you want to get your head down. Make sure your SAP's correct. Make sure your strategy's correct. Make sure you got enough fuel in the car to suit you. And just get your headset ready, head switched on. Anything can happen at the source, which is turn 1. So we should be in for a good race.
So wait for the game to reset the grid. I think we'll do the formation lap. And LaSource is definitely a source for some definite cause and effect when it comes to crashing out in this game. So we're going to do the formation lap here. KCG with his first pole position of the season. He did win back in round 1. He'll be looking to try and do that again today. Rita is going to be starting in 2nd. That is your championship points leader. He's got back-to-back podiums now. 2nd in Bahrain and 1 last week at Monza. So he'll be looking to try and snatch that away from KCG. Dan's going to be trying to make up for last week's mishap, though, where he came across the line first, but the win was given to Rita due to after-race penalties, so he'll be trying to make up for that today. Epic the Animal finished third at round 1. He's going to look and try and get another podium today and try and make up for the qualifying mishap. And Khalifa joining us after missing Monza last week. He took the first pole position of the year back at Bahrain, but unfortunately his race fell apart for him in the late going, came home 9th. He'll be starting in the 5th spot, see if he can work his way to a podium position today. And Maxi 16's got a good qualifying effort, starting in the 6th spot in the Toro Rosso. He'll be trying to put some points on the board for them today. He's got his teammate right behind him, Sloppy G, in the other Toro Rosso, starting 6th and 7th. So it could be a good points day for Team Toro Rosso. Carbon Khan's going to be starting in the 8th spot. Let's see if he can work his way through the field a little bit. And ASDF Kimi, that is KCG's teammate, see if he can work his way through the field, maybe give some support to his teammate as he is battling it out for the championship. Try and catch the lone Ferrari in the field today. Had a mishap going in qualifying where he lost the back end, made a contact with one of the McLarens. So put him down towards the bottom of this grid, trying to work his way through the field. And Q-Tip 1999 in the Williams, starting outside of the points. Trying to work his way into it for sure. And Feared by Gaming, who unfortunately has 2 DNFs to his credit so far this year in 2 rounds. He'll be looking to just finish a race, hopefully put some points on the board. AB53 Mo had a DNF last time out. He's not going to want to do that again. And Fozzie Wazzie in the McLaren, that's the guy that had contact with Try and Catch during qualifying. He's going to be starting in the 14th spot. His season has gotten off to a slow start. He'll try and work his way into the bottom half of the points. And Chaz Meister 44 from International Racing League, that's Charlie Sampson. He'll be in the other racing point, starting on the medium tires. He didn't set a time during qualifying. We'll see if he can work his way through the field and put some points on the board. And Gad, who has had nothing but internet issues since trying to join this race, he's going to see if he can just keep control of the car. And hopefully he doesn't lag out. That's going to make up your 16 drivers for today's race. Any predictions before we get to the start?
There will be a lot of overtaking in this Grand Prix. That's one prediction. But unfortunate for the Mercedes, Ben Gallagher was here last week. This time Khalifa was here this week. We've got Dan as a reserve. But let's go.
Here we go. Wait on the 5 red lights.
Here we go. Right.
Lights are out. Time to run what you brung. They're away to puff of smoke, and we've got some cars starting in the back. Got a very poor start, but look at Dance up the middle. Oh, and he's already made contact with KCG and around the outside. And look at Epic as he dives to the front of this pack. So and away he goes. He's threaded the needle on that one. He's got Rita all over the back of him as they head through Eau Rouge and the top of Radion.
I think Max might be joining one again. The scrap for the lead of the Grand Prix, but he has got the Alpha behind him.
Lots of slips. Here comes KCG, and it's a drag race down the straightaway. And around the outside goes Max, and he's going to take the 2nd spot. And we've got a safety car, and we've got one of the McLarens in the back. Looks like that's not Fozzie Wazzie. Looks like we've got, who is that?
It is Fozzie. That would be calling in P5.
Who's all the way back at La Source?
That is, well, there's Mo at just gone through the Camel Straight with no front wing. I don't know who that is.
Seems to be a glitch in the game. There's a car that doesn't seem to be recognized.
It's either a car. We don't know. Oh, there's a crash in the safety car there. PMP Catch has gone for a spin after being a little bit of aggressiveness from Mr. in the racing point behind him. Pushed the back of PMP trying to catch, and catches round. He's lost a couple of positions down to P15. But safety car out. The leaders will come round. The safety car, that might be what it is. It might be the safety car that is parked up at the exit of the Source.
Oh, that would make sense.
To come round.
That would make sense.
Now I know. took us some time, but we have found it out as we slowly end lap 1. Winners from that lap is Max, who's jumped from 6th to 2nd. Dan will be disappointed with his collision with KCG, and he's gone into the pits. He must have some sort of damage with that collision.
And a lot of these guys might be taking advantage to swap over to possibly the medium or the hard tires. Is it possible to run hard tires now all the way to the end of this race? That's a really long stint.
I think, if memory serves me correctly, it might be able to. I can't remember the last time I even did a league rush on this track and took it at all seriously and remembered finishing the race. But I can't remember if they can. They might be able to. See how many drivers do run the risk of it.
Let's see if anybody switched over. So Try and Catch, Q-Tip, and Khalifa all switched over to hard tires. Dan, Chazmeister, and AB53 Mo have switched over to mediums. So, interesting to see. I don't know if that's going to work out. That's a long stint, even for hard tires. And I feel like you're going to give up a lot of time on track to the guys in softs. I don't think you're going to be able to make up a whole lot of spots.
Near the end of the race, if you run hard, your tyres are going to be gone. That's why Dan has pitted for the medium tyres. So he might be pitting again to go on another set of mediums or another set of softs, so you can be quicker near the end of the Grand Prix. And he's done himself well up into P10 at the point. Sloppy's a little bit disappointed at that side. P7 down to position 9. Gad and Fia both jumping up in the points, as well as Kimi.
So big mover was Gad and all that. He moved up 8 spots to the 8th position, and obviously Dan and Khalifa were the biggest losers. Dan all the way down to 12th after starting in 2nd spot. Khalifa down into 15th after starting in 5th. So, but it's a long race. A lot can happen, especially here at Spa. Animal ST's made his prediction. He says Epic is going to get a podium today. Epic currently running in the 3rd spot.
He's on for that. I think Animal would just want the safety car for the rest of the race to get his prediction correct. But Khalifa's overtaken PMP Try and Catch under the safety car. I don't know what's going on down here. I just saw a position swap on my screen. But I think they're all sorted that one out. So just all following the safety car now.
And it looks like we're waiting for... waiting for the Haas of AB53 to join up to the pack. So we'll probably have to go one more lap under yellow.
I think we will. Just be one more lap, then restart racing on other start of lap 4. It would be very interesting to see the restart as Sloppy comes into the pits. Bit of an interesting one to come into the pits now, unless obviously he's had contact with anyone as during that lap. Interesting one for the Toro Rosso.
I've seen a lot of incidences the past. Oh, look, was that Try and Catch? It just went around in the background? Yeah, he's going around. He had contact with another driver.
He's behind Mo now. And, it won't be too long for Sloppy to catch up. An effective free pit stop on the entire of the grid. It won't be long until he catches up.
So a huge mistake under the safety car, yellow flag conditions. Try and Catch now going to be 15th.
Should be a very interesting restart. See what happens with the top 4. Obviously, what happens behind. Will Dan be able to fight back? Will people like Gad and Fozzie will be able to maintain positions from Dan? There's Chad May. Oh, there's a car going off there. I think it's the Alfa Romeo of Kimi, I believe that was.
And where is he?
Ran away the exit of the chicane. He's rejoined behind the McLaren in P6.
And this is what I was just starting to talk about, is the amount of mistakes that I've seen so far this season under the safety car. Guys getting, time penalties, collisions. I get the safety car. It's not an exact science, but really, under safety car conditions, you should definitely not have an incident or make a mistake for cutting the corners or anything like that, exceeding the track limits.
I've never had any personal mistakes, but I've seen in league races elsewhere where maybe people unexpected, what people are going to do, and that's Kimi again. I think he's gone for a little bit of a spin.
And Fear by Gaming with a 5-second penalty for causing that collision with Kimi. So it looks like Kimi might have had a little bit of help that time, unless he.
The safety car's in this lap as the racing point. He's just holding up the rest of the field.
I got a feeling this is not going to be the last safety car we see.
This is where collisions normally tend to come up, where drivers don't know what other drivers are going to be doing, especially at the restart. Well, in just the safety car in general, you don't know when drivers are going to be braking, trying to save their tyres.
And Chazmeister, 5-second penalty, severe collision with Q-tip. Again, under the safety car.
And we're about to go into clean track racing. When another racing point blitzer.
I mean, if it were me, I would smash it coming out of the bus stop chicane. You know everybody's going to be bobbled up there for sure under that heavy braking zone. And it looks like that's what he's doing. He's getting back to the power now.
Runs away.
He's definitely separated himself a little bit. It looks like KCG had, he's trying to get away around Epic.
Oh, Epic's just defending the inside line.
Oh, now they're side by side coming downhill. You cannot go side by side through Eau Rouge. It'll never work.
I think you can. If you can see. And they've done it somehow.
That's very tight racing. And Carbon Con, we're looking at the back of the McLaren now, and we now look at the front, and it looks like KCG is going to try and make a move around the outside.
And he's going to get the move done. Got the inside line.
Oh, good move by KCG. We were on board with Carbon Con when he made that move. Great racing by KCG.
The front two pull away a little bit, but obviously two people behind him, both them scrapping. Can Max mount a challenge on the racing point? The scraps elsewhere will be vital as well for championship points. An epic fight back at KCG. But even Calricon or Kimi get involved in this little scrap.
Yeah, 3rd through 6th looks like it could be a very interesting race, and then you get a little bit of a separation there. You get back to Feared by Gaming is a 2.5 off, but then he's got Gad right behind him, breathing down his neck. And then Dan, he's managed to get his way into 9th. He's on the medium tires. One's a little wide coming out of the corner, but he's all over Gad's rear end now. Oh, and he dives to the inside. Oh, that was very close.
Very close from the Red Bull, but Dan still can have a look at it. He looked for the inside of Blanchimont. He is going to have a look at it.
Oh, Dan has got to be careful.
Dan's got to make sure his wing doesn't go yet.
Oh,
and nothing but giving this Gad who's cut across him there. Going into.
Oh, and Dan's going to get a little bit of help from Q-Tip, and the racing back here is very aggressive.
And Q-Tip's going to have a look.
To the inside. He's going to push Dan wide. Dan tries to get back on the power. Dan's being real aggressive this early in the race. I know he's a fast driver, and it looks like we've had an incident.
It's Max.
Max is going around at the top of Ratty. Oh, there comes one in the Renaults. That was close. Wow.
That was very close. I saw Max on the mini-map going wide, spinning at Eau Rouge while I was looking at the scrap there. What was P8, which turned into P7. Now it's Dan, just about gets it done, gives Dan a little bit of squeeze.
Around the outside, they're side by side.
And he's got the move done.
Finally gets in front, but here comes Q-Tip to the inside of Gad.
And that's a very nice move from the Williams.
Uh-oh, yellow flag sector 2.
And,
looks like that could have been Maxi again, falling all the way back to 14th.
He's having such a positive start in P2. The racing point 1.6 seconds in front of KCG, his championship rival. He's got a nice healthy 1.8 second gap to Epic. And Harvicon is not that far behind. He's within TRS. TRS gets activated at the end of lap 6.
It's this mid-pack battle there that I want to watch. 6th spot, Feared by Gaming. He's got Dan breathing down his neck, followed by Q-Tip, followed by Gad, followed by Chazmeister, Charlie Sampson. So 6th through 10th, and even that Khalifa's still within DRS range there, and it's enabled now coming into this lap. So the DRS is enabled finally.
We'll Dan have a look at Fear going into turn 1. Will he wait? He will wait. There's exit the source. Looking to go in. Well, the other drivers are going to capitalise on this. Dan does have a look going into Eau Rouge. But I don't think he'd be like, he wouldn't want to go for
Oh, and he gets a little bit of air wash to the top of the hill. Oh, he touches! Oh, that's very close.
I think Fear corner cutted. Picked up a penalty as Dan's going to go around the outside into the chicane. I think he's got them. We've done before. The braking Zobri runs a little bit wide, but he's just.
Oh, and Epic's going to come back.
Fear's going to fight back.
I'm sorry, Fear's coming back. Fear gets pushed wide, and Q-Tip's going to take it.
Got the move done.
Oh, and Feared by Gaming struggling now. A little bit of washout there as he heads into that corner. Front end just came out and understeered from him. Loses that spot out. Q-Tip taking the spot. Gad now's fallen off of that battle. Khalifa, though. Khalifa is all over the back of Chazmeister.
He did have a look for Puon, but let him go down going down into the chicane. So it's got to be no offence to Chazmeister. Surely Khalifa's the fastest driver out of these two.
Looks like Sloppy's making a move on Fozzie. Nope, Fozzie looks like he wasn't much of a battle there. Looks like he's got some wing damage.
Khalifa runs a little bit wide, stand low. Some technique. This scrap for the midfield is going to be interesting for the entirety of the Grand Prix. Will Q-Tip have a look at Dan going into starting the lap 8. As Dan goes into the pits.
Dan's going to dive into the pits. He just pitted though under the safety car. Interesting strategy. I don't know what he's got going on there.
Unless he's got front wing damage. There's no change to the front wing. It's a set of medium tyres. Surely those are going to be doable for the rest of the Grand Prix.
And Dan is retired from the session. Frustration.
I don't think he's a happy man with all the incidents he's been involved with all this Grand Prix.
That's unfortunate. Dan's a fast driver. He definitely could have put some points on the board as we see Gad trying to make a move in the grass.
And Gad's
he's side by side with Feared, and they make contact, and they both have to cut the corner. And they're both going to make contact again coming out of the corner. Chazmeister trying to not get caught up in this melee.
And he's on wide.
And Feared's gotten wing damage. He's struggling with understeer.
And Khalifa's having a look at Chad, looking for the switchback through no name. But they're all single filed up. But will Chazmeister go for a move on Fear?
Khalifa going to try and... Khalifa's lost the back end! And he's into the wall!
That's a disappointment for all Mercedes.
Oh no, and Gad! What has happened to Gad?
Oh, Gad spun it, but I can't see if there's a virtual safety car being deployed. I couldn't see what happened with Gad.
I tried to pick him up, and I accidentally selected his profile.
And Max retired from the session the other day. It's not a good day for Dan and Max. They're both
I'm trying to see where Gad's car might be. It might be cleaned up at this point. We've done picked up Sloppy G.
It's cleaned up. But the virtual safety car and the racing point of Ridder is pitted, but the green flag is underway. So
and through all that, KCG is going to be your leader. Epic the Animal second. Followed by Carbon Con in third. Kimmy moves into fourth. Q-Tip coming out of turn 1 is fifth. And Rita, who pitted under that virtual safety car, switched over to the mediums. He's going to come out in the 6th spot. And Khalifa is going to go around Feared by Gaming. Yellow flag sector 3. And Feared by Gaming is retired.
He might have retired in the pit then. I'm not sure. He was in the pits last time I looked.
Yep, looks like he's retired in the pits as well. So, 3-second time penalty for Khalifa. We're under green flag conditions, but I'm surprised by Feared by Gaming and Dan. Couple of bona fide rage quits right there for sure.
Yeah, I don't think they're happy with themselves in the instance they were getting involved in. As Vidra gets a penalty, he won't be able to change the minds of everyone with that. That's a Stonewall 3-second time penalty for the racing point. As KCG is still in the lead, extending his lead to 3.5 seconds over Epic. The top guys have all got a nice little healthy gap to each other. Except for Q-Tip
now yellow flag in sector 2. And Feared by Gaming has officially left the session. So let's get a little bit of a grid reset here. After all that, KCG is your leader. He's diving into the pits, so he's going to ruin my grid reset. Epic the Animal is going to retake the lead now. Actually, I shouldn't even say... Well, yeah, he did lead early on.
Yeah, he did lead. He's putting in a good drive in the other from up to P2 now.
Carbon Con is making his pit stop. And Dan has officially left the session. He did make a mention of His frustration with, I guess, moving under braking, and I'm not very clear as to what the rules are here at HTA RL. I don't know if they follow the FIA guidelines or you can't move under braking. So
It's Capricorn has come out from the pits in P7 in his McLaren.
And Rita and Q-Tip battling it out. Rita just got around Q-Tip for the third spot.
Yeah, it should be a very interesting remainder of the Grand Prix, especially the amount of hectic carnage we've had.
Khalifa back into the pits again. So we've got some guys that have made 2 stops, some guys that have done 1, and then you've got Epic the Animal and ASDF Kimmy who have yet to pit, running 1 and 2.
Yeah, so there's various drivers and various different strategies. So it'll be interesting to see how everything folds out after everyone does their pit stops. I think the people on the 2 stops have just done a pit stop to change their front wing. I wonder if Epic and Kimmy will fall into the pits at the end of this lap. I think they will. Now is the time for the change of tyres. I would recommend the pit. And Epic stayed out.
So yellow flag sector 3, and it looks like that's the Ferrari of Try and Catch. Looks like he's going around. He's losing a couple of spots.
And Kimmy is pitting in the second Alfa Romeo. Ritter sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix of 46.7.
And it looks like Try and Catch has got some left front wing damage. Looks like the end plate is gone. See if he dives into the pits. Oh, and he tries to get back on the power, and he slams it into the Armco. Coming out of the bus stop chicane, struggles to even get into pit lane. So Try and Catch, his day is falling apart. Kimmy now under threat from Carbicon. Side by side through a Rouge, that's going to be close, and he makes the move. Oh, but he loses the back end, and he's into the barrier at the top of Radion. And that was close.
That's disappointing for Carbicon. He was on a really good race.
And that was the Haas of AB53 Mo that went flying by.
Mo's been having a quiet race, keeping himself to himself, doing well up into P7.
And Khalifa just got by a couple of guys to move into the 9th spot through the pit sequence. And Chasmeister's able to move into 10th ahead of Try and Catch after he had to make a pit stop for banging it into the wall and losing the front wing. So,
there's
wow.
No other major scraps coming on. Very interested to see how this race will unfold. Will Q-Tip catch up with the Alfa Romeo on those hard tyres? Or will, not the Alfa Romeo, the Racing Point. Or will the Racing Point and his mediums hold out? Especially with the 2 Alfa Romeos behind him.
And again, yellow flag sector 2.
Sloppy was slowing down there a little bit. The leaders start lap 11 of the Grand Prix in Epic pits in the Renault.
So Epic finally pits, so that's going to hand the lead back over to Rita. Q-Tip's going to take 2nd spot, and that's going to move KCG up into 3rd. And these cars...
on a quiet race up into P2. Put on those hard tyres. See if he can put them on until the end of the Grand Prix is another matter and another story.
Well, it has been a while, I believe. Yeah, he's got 9 laps on those hard tires. You've got KCG's got the freshest of the top 3. Obviously, Epic just pitted. And AB53 Mo, he's got 9 laps on his softs. I'm surprised he's been able to hang on to that car as well as he has. Those tires are usually only good for about 6 or 7 laps around here.
There's a sloppy cheat in the Toro Rosso. Not a very good day for the Toro Rosso drivers after a very, very strong qualifying.
Yellow flag sector 2. I don't know who that would have been.
No. TQ's trying to get past, try and catch. Oh, and he's running to the back of him, and on my screen, Catch is spun, but I don't know if my screen's corresponding with your screen.
Definitely not.
Oh, well, there we are then.
Try and Catch is making the move for the 7th spot to try and go around Chasmeister in the Racing Point. and to figure out who was in what.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out what's happening, yeah. I'm definitely confused. What's happening?
Are you watching the right race?
Yes, I think I am. If Ritzer's just started the lap 12 and I'm getting somewhere. Well, all the other drivers are
KCG,
okay
though, we got a battle for the second spot. KCG is closed up on Q-tip. And that is the difference between hard tires and medium tires.
Yeah, I'm seeing this one. Oh, there we are. I think try and catch is out of position on my screen. He's been sent back down to wherever he is.
Side by side down the Kemmel Straight, the DRS slot open on KCG's Alfa Romeo. He'll easily be able to make that move heading into the braking zone.
Yeah.
And he's going to be able to pick up the second spot. So now we find ourselves again for the third week in a row. KCG and Rita are going to be running 1 and 2. And this is really your battle for the championship right here. Rita, your championship points leader. KCG second in points. And from what I can tell, these guys are going to be walking away with this championship and battling it out for the season, it looks like. And it looks like we've got a car off. It might have been KAMIKAZE. Looks like he's had an issue in the McLaren. No, it was Fozzie. Fozzie's in the McLaren. He's off. And he is out cutting some grass in his McLaren.
Lawnmower in the McLaren. Down in P12.
Well, that's a McLaren Renault.
Oh, and Chaz in the...
and Chaz is going around. Oh, and he just put it head first into the Armco, trying to turn it around. He's doing the Austin Powers, trying to get it turned around.
He's just taking the DRS sign out. Surely that's some sort of violation. But he's down in P11.
So rough day for Chazmeister. And he is going to cut the corner there, so... And he just put it into the wall and retired from the session. So that's in sectors 1, 2, and 3 yellow flags. I would imagine that would bring out a virtual safety car if you have a yellow flag in each sector. But we continue to race under full course green. So we'll pick up KCG.
He's definitely catching on the racing point. This should be a very tasty ending towards the Grand Prix.
And we've got a battle here. KAMIKAZE has now closed the gap to try and catch for 8th. Really closed up on him under this in Sector 3 here. Oh, and it's very tight as they head down towards the bus stop chicane side by side. KAMIKAZE around the outside and takes the spot heading into the chicane. Good move by him. And it looks like AB53 Mo is finally going to pit after running a very long time on those soft tires. Where is he going to come out in relation to KAMIKAZE? It's going to be side by side. Oh, and AB53 is just going to miss out. But it looks like he might have put on another set of softs. Yeah, AB53 Mo is... Oh, no, and there goes the Ferrari! Try and catch! The top of Radeon, I'm surprised the car is held together. And that car has been in more incidents today than any other vehicle I've seen.
No clue what's happening in my stream. Try and catch is going through Pouron in the middle sector. Something's gone drastically wrong. There's some sort of glitch with him. As Ritzer starts lap 14 on my screen. Don't know what's happening with your stream. Hopefully...
I'm thinking it might just be try and catch because everything else seems to be in correlation. Sloppy G is actually coming up on try and catch now. He's going to go around him. Try and catch has got massive wing damage after going off the top of Radeon.
Yeah, I think it is try and catch. He's in the last sector on my screen. It must be just the Ferrari. I think everyone else is okay with everyone else.
So AB53 Mo, we're going to pick him up. Oh my goodness, because that is the McLaren in front of him of KAMIKAZE, and KAMIKAZE just drove it into the grass a little bit, saved it coming back out.
This could be interesting development, little battle for position 8. Some more crucial points as that's a Ferrari of catch on my screen. Obviously won't be over view. Will the Haas overtake the McLaren? Might be a bit far behind for an overtake into turn 1. keep on board with it, just in case any developments happen going up All Rouge and Radion. Fozzy Wozzy, as it stands, is on for a championship point. Should be quite impressive.
It looks like KAMIKAZE was able to gap AB53 Mo through Sector 1. He's now got a 1.5 second gap over AB53 for the 7th spot. So a little bit halfway through this race, Rita is currently your leader. He's out in front by 2.2 seconds. KCG is closing in on him. That was 2.8 seconds a few laps ago. If you go back another 2.5 seconds from that, you pick up Q-Tip in the Williams. 6.5 seconds back from him is Epic the Animal running all by his lonesome. Then you've got another big gap, 8.5 seconds back to Kimmy, who running in 5th. And then Khalifa has managed to work his way into the 6th spot, 30 seconds behind. You want to talk about somebody running by his lonesome. He's 30 seconds behind ASD Kimmy, and
he's
12 seconds ahead of 11 seconds ahead of KAMIKAZE in the 7th spot. AB53 Mo running in 8th. Sloppy G is going to be running in 9th, and Try and Catch, for everything that he's gone through today, is somehow still running in the 10th spot. Fozzy Wozzy is running in 11th. He's essentially a lap down from most of these cars. 12th through 16th, all DNFs or retirements. Chaz Meister, Feared by Gaming, was a rage quit. Gad, I believe, crashed out. Maxi was a rage quit. Dan was a rage quit. So, lots of stuff going on, and Fozzy just blew the bus stop chicane. He's got right front wing damage. Looks like he's struggling to keep the car on the track, and he's trying to get out of the way, and that's one of the Mercedes going by.
Yes, this part of the Grand Prix where nothing much happens. Everyone's pulled away from everyone. I don't think we might be seeing much overtaking. If there is, the only one I can see it for is the battle for P1 between Grida and KCG, and maybe even the battle for P7 between Capricorn and AB53 Mo. Other than that, I can't really see much overtaking going on at the end of this Grand Prix, which is a bit unfortunate because some races around Belgium, they're going to be action-packed entirely the Grand Prix. The safety car right now would cause absolute bedroom and tighten the field up, and it would be interesting to see what that. So,
well, KCG is trying really hard to close that gap.
To crash, but if someone wants to just casually just park up and cause a safety car, everyone bunch up and be in for a good couple of laps. But I'm not saying that someone should crash, but yeah, I wouldn't mind the bunched up field.
And we've got yellow flag sector 2. That's too bad. KCG was actually closing in that gap to Rita, but Rita was able to catch up to Try and Catch in the Ferrari and was able to get that DRS. So he was able to spread that gap to 2.8 seconds over KCG. So KCG lost half a second in that first sector simply because of the DRS.
On my screen, Try and Catch just spun off the back of Rita, which is a bit interesting. But I don't think that's happening on stream or wherever it happens. Yeah.
Now he seems to be the only car that isn't correlating between the two of us for whatever reason that may be, but.
Well, it is the Formula 1 game at the end of the day. It's not always perfect. It's been an entertaining Grand Prix. Not much overtakes happening, of course. But,
and Chazmeister's officially left the session.
Everyone's been so far spread out. Can't really have much overtakes. Especially with the nature of track of Belgium. Expect tons of overtakes, but everyone's pulling away from each other. And there's a gap between everyone. There's not much racing going on as the leaders start lap 17.
Oh, and Try and Catch just lost the back end of the car. He crashes coming out of the bus stop chicane, and he's doing donuts on the front stretch, trying to get the car straightened up. And I think at this point, Try and Catch, you become a hazard at a certain point. You're a moving roadblock. I think you really just need to call it a day. Try and Catch, Fozzy Wozzy. They've both struggled mightily throughout the course of this race.
Yeah, for the course of the season, in fairness to the pair of them.
At a certain point, you really just need to say, you know what, I'm not being productive throughout the course of this race. And he's actually trying to go around, is this Epic? Yeah, he goes around Epic the Animal, who Epic is in 4th spot. So
I think
try
Epic
and catch
needs someone for company anyway. In fairness.
Yeah, but I don't think a lap car is the type of company Epic wants.
No, that's the least. That's the last thing he wants. And if you try and catch at this moment, if I was in his boots, I would just find a wall and put my suspension out or something. Call it a day. It's not been a good day. We'll definitely try and come back next week and try and assess things again. Still nothing going on. The gap to the top two, 2.5 seconds. Will KCG catch up? Depends. Tyre wear might even play a factor in this one.
I think these guys are pretty close, though.
Pitted on lap 6.
Yeah, so Rita and KCG, 9 laps versus 8 laps on the medium tires. And Try and Catch is finally, officially, I think he did what you did, put himself into the wall.
That's popped up on my screen.
Virtual safety car.
But I just looked at the race director, and KCG has not got a penalty, while the Racing Point has said we won't have a repeat of Monza again. But it could be a very interesting last couple of laps if KCG can close the gap down. Safety car, virtual safety car is back, gone, it's disappeared, back to green flag racing.
Yeah, it looks like Rita might have caught KCG napping a little bit under that virtual safety car because he's been able to separate that gap now to 3.2 seconds almost. And yellow flag sector 1. So the car is very well spread out. I haven't seen cars spread out like this in a league race in quite some time. And it's just...
Yeah, the last time I could remember seeing cars this spread out was when I was league racing. And let's not talk about that. It's not about me, it's about these drivers that are racing on Spa.
Now KCG is closing that gap. He's down
flirting between 3 seconds. If you can get within that 3 seconds, I think you'll be fine for the Grand Prix win.
That's true. Rita does have some time penalties. Use the race director. See what kind of time penalties we're looking at for Rita versus KCG.
I did look. Rita's got one. He's got penalty and 2 warnings. So if he has another corner cut, that resumes into another penalty. But if KCG has a warning, he'll pick up a penalty himself. So I think Rita wouldn't mind seeing KCG cut some corners now. As Fozzie Wozzie is up to P10, he's on for championship point. There are only 10 drivers left in the Grand Prix. A lap down, but a point to point. And Rita's pulled a couple of tenths there, going through the sword.
He must have heard us talking about that 3-second time penalty. It looks like he tried to pick up the pace a little bit. He's just outside of that. KCG's going to be kicking himself if he can't close that gap at least half a second. And Kimmy's heading into the pits. Very late to be heading into the pits.
I think Kimmy's got a big gap to Khalifa behind. I think we might be looking for the fastest lap.
That's going to be close. And yeah, the fastest lap would garner him a championship bonus point here at HTA RL.
And he's lost a bit, and he's got a front wing change to do as well, which does. So
we're going to keep an eye on Khalifa. Khalifa coming out. Oh, Khalifa was probably going to easily get this spot. It might be close. Kimmy's away. Khalifa, it's going to be really close between these two.
No, I think Kimmy's fine.
Kimmy's actually going to get out in front of him, and good job by Kimmy.
Good tactical decision there as Kimmy and the McLaren is coming into the pits. He might be looking for fast lap as well.
So some of these guys are going to make a last-ditch effort, switch over to the softs and see if they can get that championship bonus point. Interesting strategy from some of these guys. So that does make things a little bit more interesting.
At least we'll have some light entertainment to endure for the remaining laps of this Grand Prix, as well as what happening up in front. Gap is 3.3 seconds now. KCG must be wanting to close down this gap as they're about to start lap 28 to 22 with Spa, Belgium. Q-Tip quietly strolling around in P3 on those mediums. He's done well to keep them around.
Yeah, that's a really good run by Q-Tip today.
Very good stint on those tyres. The gap is pulling away, in the top two.
Wow,
3.5
props
seconds
to
now.
props to Rita. He's definitely put the pedal down the last couple laps to separate that gap. 3.5 seconds now. KCG is going to be shaking his head, just trying to look for speed. Why can't I get there?
But Rita needs to be careful. Another warning will result in a penalty, and obviously KCG's got one lap tyre advantage on him as he hit a lap later than the Racing Point. And it should be very interesting to see if the Alpha can catch up, overtake, well, not potentially overtake, but get within the 3-second window they need. But if Ritter tyres blow, or if he even cuts a corner, that will result in a penalty. And then all the good work that the Racing Point's done will be gone right down the drain. As KCG is caught up a little bit, the gap's down to 3.3.
He's floating it there. He's just flirting with it just a little bit, but just can't seem to find that extra tenth or two that he needs a lap to make that work. It's almost as if they're running like mirrored lap times at this point.
Yeah, they're quite similar pace, the pair of them. No wonder they're championship rivals. Both were quite slow on lap 19 and lap 18, I believe. Ritter set a 50.7 while KCG was set in a 50 flat. So let's see what the gap is as they come across the line. Start the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix, lap 21 and 22. The gap is 3.3 seconds.
And again, KCG just not able to close it up.
He's slowly getting the gap down, but he needs to find more than that. I think there's a little bit of a mistake there at the exit for the source. This is the only main scrap they need to be looking for. See, the fastest lap is
AB53 mode just picked up a 3-second time penalty, but that looks like it's going to be inconsequential. He's 20 seconds back from Khalifa and 5 seconds ahead of Sloppy G.
Sloppy's got 2 penalties. Mo's got 5-second penalties. Mo's got 8 seconds worth of penalties.
Wow. So Mo would lose a spot.
Mo would lose a spot, I believe, to the Toro Rosso driver. Wasn't a fantastic risk. But the gap between the top two is down to 3.2 just temporarily before it goes back up to 3.3. KCG must be thinking he needs one of those qualifying laps to the last lap of the Grand Prix.
He may have been saving his tire temps for just such an occasion. If he was going to do anything like that, now would be the time to do it.
You never know, could have been saving the RS or fuel. Making sure. And it looks like he's already caught up a little bit there. The
3.0, here he goes. Looks like he's starting to pick up the pace a little bit.
Looks like he's putting hammer to the metal as Capricorn sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix on those softs. So one of them did manage to get it. But the gap to the top two is extended a little bit now. 3.1 as Ritter comes through the last
so Rita just starting the last lap. We're going to pick up KCG. We're going to hop on board with him, see what he's got.
He's 2 tenths behind.
3.2. Does he have anything for Rita to try and make up that time? He could snatch that win away.
And Sloppy.
Oh, and Sloppy comes out in front. This could be good news. Sloppy's going to be on the softs, but KCG could use the DRS to try and close that gap.
Sloppy's in a mistake there. He wanted to go up the fastest lap, but he's just been lapped by the race leaders. And he gets out of the way of the Alfa Romeo.
KCG just 3.1. He's so close.
This is going to be really intense to see who can win this. Will Ritter hold out?
This is he's 2.9. This is a race for the win because of time penalties.
Underneath the 3-second mark, if KCG can keep it clean, don't pick up any more warnings, you should be the winner of this Belgian Grand Prix.
It's so close, 2.949, 2.884.
2.8.
Still 2.9. He's got to at least be 2.5, give himself a little bit of insurance, a little bit of a cushion to play with.
And,
he runs a little wide there, that was very close.
It's obviously, in fact, keeping up with PMP KCG. This is going into the last sector.
And now it's 2.6. That's the insurance that he needs. A little bit of a cushion there.
Just what Casey needed. Ritter's driven well, but I don't think they'll be doing enough. That penalty's going to cost him crucial, like we did last week at Monza before we were overturned. We've come into the bus stop now. will claim.
So here comes Rita.
Win.
Rita's coming out. This is a 2.8 seconds, 2.9. It's going to be really close. Rita comes across the line. Here comes KCG. And KCG, he's not able to snatch it. He's not able to get it away. 73 hundredths of a second.
And
oh no, Q-Tip just picked up a 5-second time penalty. That could cost him. Nope, Epic by 3/10 misses out on a podium.
Another good showing from the Alfa Romeo boys. Obviously, KCG within just shy of a tenth of winning the Grand Prix, but Kimi is surely about to come round in P5 unless penalties say otherwise. He's got a 4-second cap to Khalifa behind.
Was close. KCG is going to be just kicking himself, thinking, where could I have found 73 hundredths of a second?
Yeah, I think it was the last sector that cost him, if being honest. A couple of tenths as Kimi, in fact,
Kimi goes fastest lap. 146.3 to snatch the championship point for fastest lap. We're going to pick up AB53 Mo. He's in Sector 3 heading towards the bus stop chicane, currently running in 7th.
The Alfa Romeo constructor, be happy with that. A nice bunch of points, 29 points. Obviously not the points that KCG wanted as the AB353 Mo and Capricorn both come around. Mo doesn't beat the fastest lap. It's all on Capricorn for the championship point.
Now does CarbonCon have anything for the fastest lap?
I think he picked up a penalty on the last lap. Yeah, he did.
What a crazy ending to the race. What a battle for the win, and the cars weren't even next to each other.
I think it's one of the first times I've witnessed a Grand Prix with everyone being so far behind or apart from each other, and it's been that close. It was very entertaining as a commentator, especially a second week on the job. I have enjoyed. Hopefully, more exciting this.
So celebrations for Rita. That's going to be 2 wins in a row. Obviously, Monza is going to be a very controversial win from last week. That's going to be talked about all season. But 2 wins in a row, 3 podium finishes in a row. Rita batting 1,000, and so is KCG. Oh no, KCG is not. He finished 4th last time out. So. Yeah, here's your unofficial results as of now. Rita walks away with another win, followed by KCG. Q-Tip is 3rd. Epic the Animal 4th. ASDF Kimi is 5th. Khalifa 6th. AB53 Mo 7th. Carbicon 8th. Sloppy G is 9th. And Pozzy Wazzy does walk away with that championship point. Try and Catch, Chazmeister, Feared by Gaming, Gad, Maxi, and Dan, all DNFs 11th through 16th. What an unbelievable race here round 3 was. What are your thoughts on that crazy race today? For sure.
That was someone I wasn't expecting from Belgium. Everyone's so far apart from each other, but the end result between the top 2 so close because of penalties. But a very good race. I have enjoyed yet again. Hopefully, I'll be back next week.
And speaking of next week,
say what happens. That
will be at Hockenheim, Germany, be round 4, and that's a fairly interesting track in the game. I'm not a big fan of Hockenheim in real life, but it has made for some good online racing in some of the other leagues that I commentate for. Obviously, it was definitely the race of the year last year in real F1 thanks to the weather, but generally speaking, Hockenheim leaves a lot to be desired. But we'll be doing that next week. Same HTRL time, HTAR channel. And guys, I want to appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel, and check us out again next week. And once again, Ozone with me. Always good to have you, man. Definitely hope you can make it next week as well. And
yeah, thank you. It's been fun. I'm looking forward to Germany next week. Should be a good one.
So guys, this has been Belgium. This was round 3 of the Assists League here at HTA RL. Be sure to check out the Elite race that was run earlier today. Be sure to check that out on the YouTube channel as well and get caught up with that. On the Elite side, no assists, no ABS, no traction control, all that fun stuff. That's for the big boys, something I could never do. And again, be sure to check us out next week at Hockenheim.
Used to be able to do that.
Used to be able to do that?
Yeah, I was in a no-assist league for a little while. Just couldn't keep up. carried on spinning for some reason. Just to flow the traction.
So guys, this has been, no, you're good. This has been KAMIKAZE-FOX and Ozone HTA RL. Hit the Apex Racing link, guys. We'll see everybody at the next round.